Hey, you've been working with Total Traffic Network, haven't you? Well, I need to talk to you about some problems, and I'm going to skip over the closed and cleared, but the ramps. These are our three biggest problems with the wording of Total Traffic Network. And as long as you figure out what's closed, which is usually the roadway, you can handle the closed ones properly. As long as you figure out what's cleared, which is usually a disabled vehicle, and you have past versus present tense working well for you, you can handle the cleared. The ramps, though, are just worded in such a confusing way sometimes that it's hard for anyone to get them well. So first, let's understand what a ramp is. A ramp is a path from one road to another. So anytime you have two highways crossing, you don't have an intersection. That would be inefficient. Instead, you have a ramp because you want to allow the drivers on 635 to get to 30 if they want, without having to exit and stop at the light and wait and go through and get on the other highway. You're just going to give them a ramp to travel into the highway. You can't give them one ramp, though, because remember, there are northbound and southbound drivers on 635, but there are eastbound and westbound drivers on 30. So you have to give those northbound drivers on 635 a chance to go to eastbound 30, but what if they want to go to westbound 30? They need a ramp for either way, and it can't be the same ramp. Or sometimes it is, but it splits off, and your wreck could occur on either one. Same for southbound 635. So for any direction, there are two ramps you can take, which means there are 8 different ramps here. And so if there is a wreck or a problem on a ramp, it's only affecting one of the 8 ramps usually, maybe 2 of the 8. You have to describe it in a way that you make it clear so that people driving around here know which ramp you're referring to, and they don't get worried if it's not their ramp. So for every ramp report you have a street and a direction that it's coming from, and a street and a direction that it's going to. So this ramp would be the ramp from northbound 635 to eastbound 30, because you can see it's heading that way. This ramp would be the ramp from westbound 30 to northbound 635. So if you keep that in mind, every street needs its direction, and it's not the backup street, then you should be able to sort out these ramp reports and word them properly. So let's look at some of those. Disabled vehicle in the left lane of ramp to northbound in Dallas on Woodall Rogers eastbound. Now you should be in the practice of always going, oh hey, this is the direction of the on street. I'm going to move it after the word on because that's KEOM's policy, and space it out right there. So you do not separate these two. Those always go together. But we do have a ramp to northbound. To northbound what? You know, it can't just go off northbound into nowhere. It has to go to a street. So which street is it going to go to? Is it going to go to this one next to the word at? Or this one for the stop and go traffic? Well, it's not going to go into the stop and go traffic. So it's going to be your at street, which the direction matches. So your job with the ramp reports is basically just to drag this and stick it next to the at street. But now we have 2 prepositions in a row. So go ahead and pick one. Disabled vehicle is in the left lane of the ramp in Dallas on eastbound Woodall Rogers at northbound 75 Central Expressway. You'll have stop and go traffic in the area back to 35E. Pretty simple. And that's what you could do with most of your ramp reports. Let's check this one out. Overturned cattle truck blocks the ramp to northbound. What? Northbound what? Northbound 635 on westbound Highway 80. Okay, so we move the westbound after the on, like we always do with our on street. We got the double preposition. Last time I said at, but you could also do to. The preference when you use to is it's going from one way to another. So the ramp from westbound 80 to northbound 635. And there you have your ramp. As long as you carry that strategy through in each report, you should be able to take on any ramp report. Let me show you a few more examples. Okay. If it will bear with me. Okay. No. Okay, so here we have Accident, right lane of ramp to northbound blocked in Dallas on westbound 175. Again, I moved the westbound in front of the 175. This northbound is, I don't know, it's missing its partner. So it's going to be partnered with I-45, this street right here. So it'll be, there's an accident in the right lane of the ramp in Dallas on westbound 175 at northbound I-45. In Plano, accident at the end of ramp to southbound on Bush Turnpike. To southbound what? Well, it would be to southbound 75 Central Expressway from Bush Turnpike 190. It's confusing that this Bush Turnpike doesn't have its own direction. So you have to read further along and see delays on east and westbound ramps. So it's the ramp from east and westbound Bush Turnpike to southbound 75. So this is one where it could really confuse people because it looks like southbound might go with Bush since it's right next to on. Still, it goes with the at street. That spare direction, always stick it with the at street. In Dallas, ramps closed on westbound 635 at 35E. Ramp to southbound 35 is closed due to the accident on 635. That's another way they do it, and it's just wordy. You just need to make it more condensed. In Dallas, the ramps from westbound 635 to southbound 35E are closed due to the accident on 635. So you just eliminate the repeats in the words, where you got 35E twice, and you kind of got 635 twice, but that goes with the accident. Okay, hopefully that takes care of it. Let me know if you have questions.